guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Taylor. Today I'll be doing a get ready with me and telling people's worst dating stories anonymously, of course. If you are on my IG, you know that I put out a little questions tab on Instagram and asked you all to send me your worst dating story. So that is what I'm going to read off today, and thank you for everyone who participated. I really appreciate it. So let's get into it. Okay guys, so in this video I'm going to probably not really multitask because I'm not the best at it. Well, I'm gonna attempt to, but I will probably not show you all exactly like step by step what I'm wearing and what I'm doing in this makeup tutorial, because I'm reading, you know, the worst dating stories. So, but everything will be linked below in the description box per usual. So let's get into the first story. Also, I already did primer, so we're starting from there. Actually, I take that back. We're gonna start with my new trick that I learned for my oily skin people. I'm gonna put powder on first. I did primer, and now I'm gonna do powder by my favorite Airspun. So I'm gonna do that first and put powder on all over my face. It's very oily. And then I will read the first story. Okay, so first story. The guy was so hood I couldn't even understand what he was saying, and he was like 500 pounds and not attractive. The waitress could tell I was uncomfortable, and she ended up bringing me some cake for free to make up for the bad date. LOL. Everybody at the restaurant felt bad for me. That's sad. Oh yeah, that's crazy. Okay, I'm gonna do my eyebrows next before I get into story number 2, and I'm looking in a mirror off to the side, so now I don't have to look crazy, like too far off to the side. Okay, so I'm gonna do my eyebrows next with my Benefit Brow Contour Pro. So yes, I'm gonna do the lighter shade first. Also, my brow routine right now is kind of crazy, so just trust the process. Okay, next story. After the date, got in his car and he had to use a breathalyzer to start it because of all of his DUIs. That's pretty bad. Also, I'm glad that you're okay. But yeah, I'm sure that was the first and last date for you two. This one guy picked me up with his newborn in the car and dropped her off to the mom. They're married now. And he took me to Cheesecake Factory. I should have known. LOL. Yeah, that's pretty wild. I honestly, sometimes I'd be thinking that I go on bad dates, but then someone, you know, one-ups me. I'm gonna fix these brows before we go into the next story. Brows are done. Now let's go into the next story. Went to his apartment. Everything about him was nice except his dick. Hashtag tragic. Ooh. Yeah, that's wild. Wild. Okay, so I'm using my favorite Lancome per usual. This is actually my summer shade. I just ran out of my winter shade and I've been too lazy to go to Sephora to go get matched. So I'm just gonna lighten it with some concealer. Okay, foundation is done. So next story. I was moving when we began dating. He started job hunting in my city after the second date. Yeah, you dodged a bullet, sis. That is beyond wild. Like I could never imagine. And then men, not all men, a lot of men have the audacity to say that women jump the gun. Men jump the gun a lot. Okay, I'm doing concealer now, Lancome per usual. And this is a little trick TikTok taught me by like just putting it in the corners of your eyes instead of putting it all the way through, because that gives you a more lifted effect when you do it that way. Like this way, I mean. So I'm gonna actually need to keep lightening my face, so I'm gonna put it okay. Now I'm gonna set it a little bit with some setting spray, some Urban Decay all-nighter. And while that sets, I will read the next story. Okay. This one's a long one, but it's a good one. Okay, long story. It was only date 3 or maybe 4. I barely knew him. He invites me to a Hawks game. Is that a basketball team? I can't. Anyway, I was like, oh, a basketball game. That's dope. Let's do it. When I asked what time he would link up, we should link up, he gave me an hour window. He was like, just come by my place between 3 and 4. Don't remember the actual time, but you know. So I'm like, okay, perfect. Knowing the time frame was flex, I decided to go to brunch first, so I was looking super cute and sexy for my date, and I'm also tipsy from brunch. When I get to his apartment complex, it's closer to 4 p.m. than 3, but I'm in the window, so pretty proud of myself too. I hop in his car. Oh, he was waiting for me in the car and it was running already. The windows are hella tinted, so I can't tell, but his parents are in the back seat while he is on the phone. So he doesn't introduce me or nothing. And his parents are pissed because we're running behind. How could I have known? Like, bruh, you talked to me all day. You didn't think about mentioning your parents were coming. The man stays on the phone the entire ride to the stadium. His parents refuse to talk to me. It's awkward AF. We're now about to enter the stadium, but I pull him aside and tell him I can't go in. I'm mad AF, and I tell him he should have at least given me a heads up. True, he should have. He gets mad at me for making him look bad in front of his parents because I was supposedly late. Anyways, I Ubered my way back to my car and called it a day. Yeah, that's wild. And for him to have the audacity to be mad at you for not wanting to go inside, like, that was poor communication on his part, and he shouldn't assume that you would be okay with that. And also his parents sound very rude, but also who knows what he said to them about this whole situation. But yeah, he was definitely wrong for not giving you a heads up, and yeah, communication was not all there. Was not there at all, I mean. Okay, concealer is done. So let's go into another story. This one is not as long, but it's still good. It was supposed to be our first date, but he kept telling me he was late, and every 30 minutes he would be like, baby, I'm gonna be another 30 minutes, etc. I was so fucking mad, like the disrespect, but I made friends with the people at the bar. That was way pre-COVID when you could do that, and waited until he did show up. He sits down, and when he does, I got up, left my tab with him, and just left. I just needed him to see how good I looked that night. Hashtag savage. That's a good one. I love it. And also, please excuse my little puppy Tux for barking and crying. He's in puppy jail. He's in his kennel for being bad. Oh, hi, Lillian. You looking for mommy? Oh, and this is Hoola bronzer, by the way, in the shade Caramel. So I'm gonna blend this out before I do the next story. Okay, bronzer is done. So next story. I was dating this guy and got suspicious that he always wanted to come over and never wanted to go to his house. Biggest red flag there is. So I suggested it, and he said, okay, I could come over, but I got lazy, so he came instead, and I ended up seeing a girl on his phone background. Of course, I asked about it, and he claimed it was a video vixen. She wasn't cute enough for all that. So I did some digging, found out he had a girlfriend he lived with, and she just had a premature baby and was still in the hospital from complications. Oh my God. And that's why he finally invited me over. LMAO, trash. They got married and divorced shortly after. He still tries to contact me to this day, and that was like 2017, 2018. Wow, that's wild. I don't even know what to say about that. That's just, whew. There's a special place in hell for men that cheat on their pregnant wives. Like, or not even like, they don't even have to be a wife, a significant other that is pregnant or just had a baby. Okay, so I'm going to bake really quickly before the next story. Okay, while I look crazy and let that sit on my face for a second, next story. He was drunk when I arrived. He introduced me to everyone at the bar and it was mortifying. He kept asking to take a picture of me. He talked non-stop about himself. He talked about all the women he slept with one summer. Oh, and I quote, he said, "One summer I slept with 30 women age ranging from 18 to 56, then told me he loved going down on girls." Like, what the fuck? He cried on the date about his childhood and financial situation. We split the check. He ate most of the food and took all of the leftovers. Then I ended up getting a $70 parking ticket. It was so bizarre. There was a lot more weird stuff he said. I honestly wish I'd written it all down right after the date. Oh, and he told me about his awful drug trips, a particular one, Joshua Tree, where his friends had to Uber him back to LA, which is 2 hours away, because he was freaking out and they didn't know what to do. I was like, I felt like I was being pranked. I was looking around for cameras. Yeah, that's crazy. And this person did send me a voice memo about the whole story, and I just, like, it was wild. Wilder than like the written out part that I just read. Like, it just sounds like that person doesn't need to be dating at the moment, or at that time he did not need to be dating, because he was not stable mentally, financially, nothing. Crazy. Okay, and now I will do a blush, and then I will read the last story. Okay, last story. So basically this guy I was talking to took it upon himself to come to my house uninvited while I was at work. He texted me at 8 p.m. while I was at work and said, "I'm outside your house waiting on you." I thought he was joking because I was working that night from 4 p.m. until 2 a.m. I didn't end up getting off of work until around 5 a.m. and texted him back, "What are you doing up this late?" And he replied, "I'm outside your house. I only live a few minutes away, so I stopped by." At that point, I gotten home and was sitting outside my apartment weirded out, but I still thought he was joking. Then he said, "I'll prove it to you. I'll flash my lights." And that's exactly what he did. I was so scared, so I put my seat back and was like, "Why are you here?" He replied, "My tail light went out and I was near your place, so I thought I'd stop here." Mind you, he's only been over my place one time, but he finally realized how weird it was and decided to leave. Thank God. That's crazy. And the fact that he was that bold and comfortable to do that, like, it's honestly scary. Like, you did the right thing by waiting in your car, but it kind of shows you how you just can't trust people, especially if you met them online. Well, you really just can't trust anyone that you're just now meeting, but yeah, he just sounds like a real creep and he doesn't know what boundaries are. Oh, I'm doing obviously mascara with Estee Lauder Sumptuous Extreme. It looks so crazy whenever I put on mascara. But look how long it's making my lashes. I will set and then put on lip gloss or a lip and I'll be done. Cute pink Fenty Mini, the Gloss Bomb, and Pretty Please. Ooh, so cute. I love how pigmented it is. Okay, well, this is the final look. Okay guys, well I hope you enjoyed that little get ready with me, plus reading off worst dating stories from my IG followers, and it was really interesting to me to see that all of us are going through crazy dating stories and drama. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Please remember to like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at _Taylor Nicole, and I will see you all next week. Bye.